If you have lived in the Pacific Northwest for really any length of time, you have no doubt heard the warnings about the risk of earthquakes. The most concerning fault line is the Cascadia subduction zone that runs from Northern California all the way up the coast into Canada.
Seismologists have long warned that it has the potential to cause catastrophic damage along the coast, but what about the risks in eastern Washington? Are there fault lines in our region that we should be concerned about? Let's verify. Our question comes from viewer Sergio De Leon.
So my question is that, is it true that there's a fault line that goes down Division Street?
To verify this question, we turn to Chad Pritchard, professor of geosciences at Eastern Washington University, and Harold Tobin, a professor of earth sciences at the University of Washington and director of the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network.
Is there a fault line that kind of runs north to south through Spokane, kind of paralleling Division Street?
I know that there are some evidence of faults that have been mapped, underneath and running through Spokane in that general north to south kind of configuration.
Well, Tobin says the risk of earthquakes, specifically strong, damaging quakes, isn't nearly as great in eastern Washington compared to western Washington. There have been small quakes recorded in Spokane. This map from the Journal of Geophysical Research shows where those small quakes have been detected. The white circles indicate where they happened, and these are all between a magnitude 1.6 and 2.2.
I heard this awful boom, and my bed started to shake.
Felt a big rumble and a pop and just wondered what it was.
You may recall in 2001 when a stronger, nearly 4.0 magnitude quake hit beneath downtown Spokane, causing bricks to fall from chimneys and left visible cracks in walls.
There are definitely north-south faults in our area, but not that I know of that are extremely active.
Chad Pritchard says the more significant fault line in the Spokane area is the Latah Fault that runs along the west side of Spokane, including along Latah Creek. But other fault lines in the region are even more significant.
The biggest earthquakes are going to be coming from Sandpoint area. We have the Lewis and Clark fault zone, and then down south in the Tri-Cities area. And then, of course, off the west coast at Cascadia.
But just because fault lines have been detected in and around Spokane at this point, Pritchard and Tobin don't see a reason for people in eastern Washington to be overly concerned.
Despite the fact that we have some evidence that faults exist in Spokane and that there have been some small earthquakes in Spokane, we don't really see any evidence of something that would be concerning about the potential for a very large earthquake. They can happen and take us by surprise, but really we don't see that hazard in the same way as other parts of the state.
So we can verify, yes, several fault lines have been detected in and around Spokane, including ones that run north to south, but none that our two experts say show a potential for producing a large, damaging quake. All that being said, Tobin and Pritchard say it's always good to be prepared, so if your water heater is not strapped down, it's a good idea to do that. Also, have a go bag with some food and water and supplies so you are ready in case there is an earthquake.